Do you remember where you were at? What you were talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're all set right
All right, you take over real quick. I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get the other crew ready.
Okay.
Okay? So Kyle, you run this one.
You got it.
All right,
Okay.
I'll be back. You're doing it.
Okay.
Awesome.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, how far you want to go?
Whenever you want to stop.
Oh.
It's all you.
I don't want to gobble up all your tape.
You're fine. You're
No,
fine.
you got another hour. So
You're doing great.
go for
You
it.
were telling us about the 4 cruisers that was.
Yeah, the Ford Cruiser was something, right? So that was Guadalcanal. So our business now, we had to keep supplying the Marines
Okay.
in Guadalcanal to keep them all the stuff that they needed. Now we had a place south of there called Espiritu Santo, which was a fairly safe island. We had a fair amount of stuff on it. We would go back there and pick up some transports, convoy them back up to Guadalcanal. Then at night, when everything needed to be quiet, we'd sneak the transports in, and they would unload them. And before dawn, we'd get out of there and go back to Espiritu Santos. So we kept doing that for a few weeks, and about the third week we were doing that, we had our division was the Henley, the Helm, the Bagley, and the Blue. We swapped off and taking these things up there. So it come time for the Helm and the Blue to go up there and take a convoy up there. So it turned out we were senior, so that makes a big difference. But when we get outside there, everything's quiet. Want to be sure it's safe enough to bring these transports in to unload them. So they said, well, we better check it, you know. So the old man tells the Blue to go on in and to check around and see if it's safe enough to bring the transports in. So the Blue went in, and we heard nothing from him. So we figured, what's going on here, you know? So we figured, oh, we must be all right, so we will go in there. So we take the transports in. The Blue was torpedoed on the way in there. It's sitting up on a sandbar, half sunk. So they're having all kinds of problems. So we bring the transports in, unload them. We take the people, put them in the Blue, and put them on the destroyer, and go back to Espiritu Santos and turn the Blues and put them on whatever transports or whatever they needed to take them back to put them on other ships. In the meantime, the Blue just sunk in Guadalcanal. So that was one part of our operations at Guadalcanal. So from there, we went back to Australia, and we had to run back and forth with different places with convoys because of the submarines around there. Destroyers had the sounding gear, so that when transports or something wanted to move, generally a couple of submarines, a couple of destroyers would go with them, so to see if we could pick up the submarines on the way. And there several times we did, so that we get back to Sydney a few times, and we go back up to Townsville, and back in behind the coral reef, so that the duty wasn't too bad. But then we get transferred from then. We were what was called at this time MacArthur's Navy, because whatever MacArthur had in mind, we were the part of the Navy that was going to go with him. So do whatever we expected. Like then we started operating out of Milne Bay in New Guinea. So from New Guinea, all up New Guinea, the Japanese are in there trying to get over the Owen Stanley Mountains to take Port Moresby so that they can go from there and invade Australia. See, so in the meantime, the Australian Army is up there, along with our army, keeping the Japanese on the other side of those mountains. So MacArthur, with his usual tactics, he wants to outrun them and get behind them. So, okay, we get a fleet, we get a bunch of Marines, a lot of them from Guadalcanal, and run them back up to either Buna or Ley, which is ports along the northern part of New Guinea.
Okay.
So we dropped them off there, and then they would start attacking from the rear. So that seemed to work out pretty well. But we did this, I guess this must have been for about a year we were doing this. But from there, we went to New Britain, which was had Rabaul, which was a very big Japanese establishment. So that they wanted very much to get rid of that because they were a danger to New Guinea. New Guinea was a danger to Australia. So we had to invade Cape Gloucester, which was on the island, and from there they worked their way up to Rabaul, and they took Rabaul. So when they finished this operation there, we were sent back to the States to get an overhaul. So I got 30 days leave. I went home. When I come back, I find out I've been transferred. I'm not on the helm anymore. I'm transferred to the Columbia. Well, I had no idea what the Columbia was. At that time, you could tell what a ship was by its name. Like destroyers were named after people. Battleships were named after states.
Could you give us an example of one?
Cruisers were named after cities.
Okay.
So I was transferred to the USS Columbia. Now Columbia is a river as well as a city. Oil tankers are named after rivers.
Okay.
So I got an oil tanker. I don't have to worry about getting into any one of those landings. I was wrong. I had a light cruiser. So I get transferred to the light cruiser and out we go again. So that the next thing that came up was the invasion of the Philippines. So we started into the invasion of the Philippines in the Leyte Gulf. Now we had what was it, two main fleets. The one that we were in with Admiral Kincaid was to meet the Japanese at Surigao Straits as they come up to try to foil the landing on Leyte Gulf, on Leyte Island. And San Bernardino Straits had Halsey had a major task force sitting outside of San Bernardino Strait to keep them from coming around from behind and getting into the Leyte Gulf that way. So they had two major fleets. So our fleet, we sat at Surigao Straits, and we have the radar. The Japanese don't have this. So when we sat at Surigao Straits, we got it all lined up: battleships, cruisers, destroyers, submarines, going down the sides, just waiting for the Japanese fleet to show up. And they showed up, and we decimated. I mean, it was open fire on them, and as soon as we opened fire, they started disappearing from the radar. We were sinking them as fast as they come up there.
Oh, wow.
So that was a real victory for us.
What was it like, the environment when you were waiting for them to come to you guys? What was the environment like on the cruiser? Were you just was it quiet? What was it like?
Well, it was normal. I mean, you have certain duties to take care of, and our business was the fire room, other people's business was the engine room, and we had gunner space. You were all taking care of, making sure everything's in good shape and keep running and so forth. So that and then you're getting ready for the maneuvers that's coming up. So that it's not anything unusual. It's something that you've been facing now for, at this point, like 3 years already.
Okay.